Hello students, welcome to AKR chemistry classes. In this class, I am going to continue with the S block elements, that is most important chemical compound, that is sodium hydroxide. I'll teach you the shortcut methods in the methods of preparation of sodium hydroxide as well as chemical properties of sodium hydroxide, because many number of questions are raised in the NEET and JEE level examinations. Coming to the preparation of sodium hydroxide. Preparation of sodium hydroxide. There are two methods are there. The first method is Kastner-Kellner cell. Kastner-Kellner cell. And the second method is by using Nelson cell. In both the methods, I am using a suitable electrolytic solution for the preparation of this one sodium hydroxide, that is called as brine solution. Saturated solution of sodium chloride is called as brine solution. In the case of Kastner-Kellner cell, the ionic reaction is like this. NaCl get decomposed to form Na plus Cl minus N. At anode, the reaction is oxidation. 2Cl minus N get decomposes to or get oxidized to form chlorine with the liberation of 2 electrons. Chlorine with the liberation of 2 electrons. At cathode, reduction takes place. 2 Na plus ion gains both the electrons and get converted into sodium metal. Here anode, we are taking carbon, which is an inactive, but carbon electrode is mercury electrode, which is active in nature. So this sodium, the obtained sodium, combines with mercury to form amalgam. This obtained amalgam on subjected to hydrolysis, sodium hydroxide is obtained. With the liberation of hydrogen. So this is the reaction involved in Kastner-Kellner cell. In case of Nelson cell, ionic reaction is like this. Sodium chloride undergo decomposition to form Na plus and Cl minus ion. H2 undergo decomposition to form H plus and OH minus ion. Okay. At anode, both are graphite rods. Anode and cathode both are graphite rods, which are inert in nature. At anode, chloride ion undergoes oxidation, because between chloride and ion, OH minus ion, chloride ion possesses a low discharge potential value to liberate chlorine gas with the liberation of electrons. At cathode, H plus ion possesses lower reduction potential value than Na plus ion according to electrochemical series. So H plus ion gains both the electrons and get converted into hydrogen gas. So the remaining solution contains Na plus and OH minus ion. After electrolysis, the remaining solution contains Na plus and OH minus ion to form sodium hydroxide solution. Coming to the chemical properties of sodium hydroxide solution. In that, first one is a reaction with acids. Sodium hydroxide, on treated with hydrochloric acid, Na plus OH minus ion, H plus Cl minus ion. So we get NaCl with the liberation of water, that is neutralization reaction. On treated with sulfuric acid, H2SO4, Na2SO4, Na plus, so two molecules of sodium hydroxide I need to take. Sodium sulfate with the liberation of water is obtained. If the compound is treated with nitric acid, HNO3, H plus NO3 minus, sodium nitrate with the liberation of water. It is made to react with acetic acid, CH3COO minus H plus ion, we get sodium acetate, CH3COO Na plus water. So all these reaction indicates that sodium is a strong base. So it easily undergo neutralization reaction. It easily undergo neutralization reaction with acids. The second one is a reaction with acidic oxides. So reaction with acidic oxide. When sodium hydroxide is made to react with sulfur dioxide. Sulfur dioxide is an acid. Whenever base reacts with acid, it forms salt and water. Water is a major product. To get the water, I need to take two molecules of NaOH. NaOH, NaOH. Here it is hydrogen, here it is OH gone. In the form of water, remaining will be Na2SO3 we get. Sodium sulfite is obtained. Sodium sulfite is obtained. When you treat with sulfur trioxide, here also we are going to treat with the two molecules of sodium hydroxide, OH and H gone, in the form of water. So remaining part will be Na2SO4. The name of the compound is sodium sulfate. Sodium sulfate. When this same chemical compound is treated with sodium hydroxide on treated with nitrogen dioxide again NaOH plus NaOH, first water is liberated plus H2O. First sodium reacts with this one to form NaNO2 plus this component reacts with nitrogen dioxide to form NaNO3. Sodium nitrite and sodium nitrate is obtained. So definitely one question arises based on this concept. Please note it down. Next one. Reaction with amphoteric oxides. What are amphoteric oxides? Which can act as an acid as well as a base, but in different chemical reaction. When sodium hydroxide is treated with zinc oxide, it acts as acidic oxide. Whenever it is treated with the two molecules of sodium hydroxide, hydrogen OH gone, in the form of water. So it acts as base, it acts as acid to form sodium zincate. Sodium zincate is formed. When it is treated with one more amphoteric oxide, that is aluminum oxide. In this case it acts as acidic in nature. Here also sodium hydroxide. On treated with sodium hydroxide, hydrogen OH get removed in the form of water, remaining two sodium atoms, so 2 Na, 2 aluminum atoms Al, 3 plus 1 4 oxygen atom O2. So it becomes sodium meta-aluminate. Sodium meta-aluminate is obtained. When it is treated with the stannous oxide, SNO, stannous oxide again, on treated with sodium hydroxide solution, hydrogen OH get removed in the form of water. Okay, so remaining two sodium atoms are there, Na2, 1 stannous and O2. Sodium stannate, sodium stannite, is obtained. When it is treated with normal lead monoxide again, NaOH plus NaOH, hydrogen OH group is removed in the form of water, remaining will be Na2 PbO2. Sodium pumlite is obtained. Sodium pumlite is obtained. When it is treated with, these two reactions are very important. Lead dioxide. When it is treated with lead dioxide in presence of when sodium hydroxide are treated with lead dioxide, what is the major component? Na2 PbO3 plus H2O. Sodium pumlate, LAT, pumlate is obtained. Here it is IT, here it is AT. Please note it down. Now coming to next a reaction with the chlorine, bromine and iodine. I will take it as X2. Chlorine, bromine and iodine, I will take this as X2 with cold and dilute NaOH. First, halogen, chlorine, bromine or iodine are treated with water. It undergoes dissociation to form respective mineral acid as well as hypohalite. Mineral acid plus hypohalite. This mineral acid also reacts with sodium hydroxide solution to form NaX. It also reacts with sodium hydroxide solution to form NaOX plus water. In both the cases, water get liberated. This is called as sodium hypohalite. For example, when chlorine on treated with cold and dilute sodium hydroxide solution, we get sodium chloride plus sodium hypochlorite with the liberation of water. When bromine on treated with cold and dilute sodium hydroxide solution, we get sodium bromide plus sodium hypobromite, sodium hypobromide bromite is plus water, hypobromite, hypoiodite is obtained. If this solution, the next one is with hot and concentrated sodium hydroxide solution. With hot and concentrated sodium hydroxide solution, the obtained hypohalite is allowed to stand for few minutes. It get converted into HXO3 plus mineral acid HX. When hypohalite on treated with sodium hydroxide solution, we get NaXO3. It also treated with NaOH, we get NaX. This is called as sodium hypohalate is obtained. Halate. Simple example. When chlorine on treated with hot and concentrated solution of sodium hydroxide, we get sodium chloride plus NaClO3 plus 2H2O. Sorry, not 2H2O, 1H2O. Sorry. So sodium hypochlorate is obtained. Chlorate. Or when bromine on treated with hot and concentrated sodium hydroxide solution, we get sodium bromide plus sodium hypobromate is obtained. Sodium hypobromate is obtained. Next, now with boron, silicon, phosphorus, sulfur, etc. These are not soluble in water. They directly reacts with sodium hydroxide solution. When sodium hydroxide solution untreated with the boron, boron has got +3 oxidation state. So 3 molecules of NaOH is required. 3 molecules of NaOH is required. So one OH group, one more OH group, one more OH group get combined to form Na3BO3 with the liberation of H2O. So H2O means, so this OH and this H is gone, in the form of water remaining 1, 2, 3 sodium atoms, 1 boron atom, 1, 2, 3 oxygen atoms are there. Okay, the name of the compound is called as sodium borate. Sodium borate is obtained. When it is treated with sulfur, sodium hydroxide untreated with sulfur, it undergo disproportionation reaction, where the oxidation state of sulfur should be +2 and -2, but it cannot be any other oxidation state. It should be always +2 and -2. So it involved in the formation of sodium sulfide plus sodium sulfide with the liberation of water. In this case, the oxidation state is -2. In this case, oxidation state is +2. When it is made to react with the silicon, same reaction we get Na3SiO3 with the liberation of hydrogen. Sorry, this is hydrogen, not water. Sodium silicate is obtained, which is also called as water glass. When it is treated with phosphorus, we get phosphine. It undergoes disproportionation reaction. Phosphine plus sodium hypophosphate is obtained. Sodium hypophosphate is obtained. Next, a reaction with the salts. Reactions with salts, very important. When sodium hydroxide is treated with aluminum chloride salt minus NaCl, we get aluminum hydroxide, which is a white precipitate, white gelatinous precipitate. This white gelatinous precipitate on treated with excess of NaOH, again on treated with excess of NaOH, it easily soluble to form sodium meta-aluminate. It easily soluble in excess of NaOH to form sodium meta-aluminate. When it is made to react with zinc chloride, it forms zinc hydroxide, which is also a white precipitate, which on treated with excess of sodium hydroxide, it easily soluble in excess of sodium hydride to form sodium zincate. Zincate. When it is made to react with the ferric chloride solution, it forms ferric hydroxide. It forms ferric hydroxide, which is a red precipitate compound, which on treated with excess of NaOH, it is insoluble. The obtained ferric hydroxide is insoluble in excess of NaOH. When it is made to react with the copper sulfate solution, sodium sulfate will come out. We get copper hydroxide, which is a blue color precipitate, whenever it is treated with excess of NaOH solution, it is also insoluble. So what does these two reaction indicates? Transition metal salts reacts with sodium hydroxide to form the respective hydroxide, which are colored precipitates, but they do not undergo solubility in excess of sodium hydroxide solution. And very important reaction is you are doing this concept for the detection of zeroth group radical, presence of presence of ammonium ion in the zeroth group radical. Means when the salts of ammonia, for example ammonium chloride, is treated with sodium hydroxide solution and subjected to strong heating, pungent smell of ammonia gas get liberated. Please note it down. Okay students, thanks for watching this video. If you like this video, subscribe for more videos. But make sure that you should not keep on practicing. Then only you can easily crack the objective level program of inorganic chemistry very easily. Thank you and have a nice day.